In this video, I'm going to do a couple more difficult examples, and you can extend this to whatever you have 3, 4, 5 digits out in front. That's fine. We will not be looking at what happens if you have more digits underneath. Okay, and so that's going to come up when we talk about fractions and decimals. Alright, so now we have 2 digits out front, but we're still going to ask ourselves this exact same questions. We're going to say, how many times, in this particular instance, does 24 go into 8? Well, 24 doesn't go into 8. Oh, okay, well, then we have to look at the second and put the first 2 digits. And so how many times does 24 go into 89? Okay, this might take some calculations, but if you work it out, okay, it will go on there 3 times. And so we have to now multiply 3 and 24. Over on the side, you can go ahead and do this. You can do this in your calculator, that's fine. Okay, but we're trying to work this idea of long division. So don't just divide 8904 by 24 in your calculator and call it good. That's not the idea. So here we are. We have 3 times 24 is 72. We're going to subtract 72 from 89. And when we do that, we get 17. Now we're going to bring down the next digit, because notice that 24 does not divide 17. If that happens, that just means that you need to add, or you need to go back and re-look at the first step. You didn't put enough there. In other words, if I came down here and I had 28 right here, I would have had to look at this 3 and I said, okay, well 24 can go into 28, which means I needed more than 3. I needed 4. So that's just a way to kind of keep yourself on track. Anyway, alright, so here we are. We've already gone through and multiplied 3 and 24 to get 72. We subtracted 72 from 89 to get 17. Now we are bringing down our 0. And we're going to ask ourselves, how many times does 24 go into 170? Well, let's see. If we go in there 7 times, let's try 7 times. And this depends on the person. How quickly can you do this in your head? 7 times 2 is 14, so 7 times 20 is 140. And so you may have to come over here and just do a little bit of work over here. 24 and 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 2 is 16. Oh, 160. Well, that's really close to 170, and so I'm probably right. So, if I take 7 times 24, I get 168. I'm subtracting that from 170, and I get 2. At that point, I go ahead and I bring down my last digit, which is, got to bring it down further than that. I got to bring it down here. So now we say, well, how many times does 24 go into 24? Ooh, it's the same. So it goes in there 1 time. 1 times 24 is 24, and so we subtract those, and 24 minus 24 is 0. We have a remainder of 0. If your remainder is 0, you don't have to put it down there. You just simply write the number and let it be. So our answer here was 371. We're going to take that same exact method and apply it to our next problem. In this case, we're going to have a remainder because that's the way I planned it. So we're going to follow the same idea. How many times does 36 go into 7? It doesn't. So we have to include the 5. So how many times does 36 go into 75? Well, it can go in there twice, because 2 times 36 is 72. And so we subtract 75 or 72 from 75. We get 3. You'll notice I'm going a little quicker. And that's because we've had lots of practice on this long division now. And so I bring down my next digit, 6, and I ask myself the same question. 36 goes into 36 once. 1 times 36 is 36. I subtract and I get 0. I bring down my last digit. Now be careful here. Bring it down. I have 2. Now notice up here how I've lined up my columns. 36 went into 75 twice, but the 5 was in the hundreds column. Now we're working in the ones column. We can't just leave a blank. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to say, how many times does 36 go into 2? It doesn't. It goes in there 0 times. This is one of those reasons why it's a very good idea for you to go ahead and get used to writing things neatly in columns. That way you can look at it and say, hey, I need something there. I can't just leave a blank. Alright, so now we've got that. 0 times 36 is 0. We subtract and we get 2. We have no more numbers to bring down, and so that is our remainder. So we have a remainder of 2. Whoop! I apologize. We have a remainder of 2. There's our answer.